Okay, we're going to take you through now the outlook for income in 2021, and this outlook reflects the Trade and Cooperation Agreement that was reached between the European Union and the UK in December of 2020. So that deal has affected our outlook for prices, output prices in particular, and as a result of that, these revised income figures have been produced. So just a reminder in respect of the income figures we're looking at here, we're looking at income figures for individual farm systems, and each of these individual farm systems will have more than one enterprise typically on the farm. So what we need to do is we need to calculate the margins for these enterprises, the principal enterprise and the minor enterprises on these farms, and along with the estimate of decoupled support payments, that gives us the estimate then for the income level of these farms. So that's how we generate our farm income estimates. And we weight together those farm income estimates for each of those systems. And in turn, then that gives us the average farm income. So that's how we do that exercise. So on the output side, we take the value of production, the price multiplied by the volume of production. Against that, we deduct the costs of production, whether those are direct costs or overhead costs. We also then calculate the support available for the particular farm type, and that ultimately gives us an estimate of farm income. And that estimate of farm income is the return to land, labour and capital for that particular farm type. Hired labour is included in the costs that we estimate, but the labour of the farm operator's spouse or other family members that it's unpaid, that does not appear as a cost in the calculation. So the income of the farm has to cover that labour as well as the land and capital tied up in the farm as well. And that's just the international methodology that we use at an EU level. That's what we're required to do in terms of reporting of farm incomes to Brussels. So let's take a look at what the outlook looks like for 2021. We begin by just looking at the percentage price changes for the particular commodities in 2021 versus 2020. We see an increase in the price of milk, beef and lamb occurring in 2021. Significant enough reduction in the price of pig meat or pigs, albeit from a high level. And we also see minor reductions taking place for barley and wheat prices in 2021 versus 2020. What does all that mean in terms of the average farm income? Well, we've just seen here that in terms of output prices, we're talking about higher prices for milk, cattle and sheep, lower prices for cereals and pigs. In terms of production volumes, we expect those to be higher in 2021 for milk, cereals and pigs, whereas they should be stable for cattle and sheep. And taking all of those together, that would mean that the output value of agriculture would increase in 2021 compared to 2020. Against that, we also expect the input expenditure in 2021 to increase. So the price of feed, fertilizer and fuel will all be higher in 2021. We don't expect there to be particular changes in the volume of usage of those inputs in 2021. So those price increases alone will be sufficient to cause an increase in input expenditure. We haven't made any assumptions about changes in the level of support available in 2021 compared to 2020. So when we take all of those things together, we see that the average farm income, the National Farm Survey definition, is an increase of about 3% in 2021 versus 2020. Now, what does all that mean for the individual systems? And as you can see here, there is quite a range of average income levels across these systems. And of course, You shouldn't infer that the average income in a particular system is the income level of all those farms in that system, because there is a range of income levels for any of these systems. These are just the averages we're looking at purely to summarize the story. So if we look across the systems, we see dairy incomes in 2021 holding pretty much at the estimated level for 2020. So no change in dairy income in 2021, with higher milk prices being offset by higher production costs. In the case of the two cattle systems, cattle rearing and cattle other, we see an increase in income taking place of 6% and 4% respectively in 2021 compared to 2020. And also in the case of sheep, we see higher income levels in 2021 compared to 2020. And basically the story there is one of increases in output value being more than sufficient to offset the increase in production costs. In the case of tillage, which shows the largest increase in income in 2021 of 17%, the story there is more to do with assumptions about yields recovering to normal levels in 2021, following the very low levels observed in 2020. So taken together, those income changes, when they're weighted together to reflect the different amounts of farms in the various systems, gives us about a 3% increase in the average farm income in 2021 compared to 2020. So that's an increase of about €900 in the average farm income in 2021 versus 2020. And a reminder that this video, along with other video presentations relating to this revised outlook, the PowerPoint slides and the detailed report are all available on the Teagasc website. So I think that brings us to the end of this presentation.